There's definitely some battles between these two. I feel sorry for Samson. Hi, everybody. This is Lady Sweetheart, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. So this Let's Play is called Aftershock. And basically, I completed the Black Widow Challenge. And in the Black Widow Challenge, we did win. However, my Black Widow Haven ended up having 5 kids through the course of it. And 4 of those 5 kids currently live in this house. And so instead of just stopping, I thought, I got really invested in these Sims. I know a lot of you got really invested in these Sims. So I thought, you know what, let's just kind of follow them and see how they get past this, because this was a very traumatic event. Basically all of the kids found out that their mom was a Black Widow. But for many of them, not only that, but that their mom killed their father. So I thought, this would be kind of an interesting angle to just see how does a family get past something like that. So I'm going to start off by introducing you to the Sims that are going to be in this Let's Play. So first off, I'm just going to talk a little about Amara, which is this Sim here. She is actually not going to be in this particular Let's Play. By the end of this episode, I'm actually going to be moving her out because she's going to have her own story that we're going to follow. Amara is a spellcaster, and she is also the child that discovered her mom was a Black Widow. So we will talk a little bit more about her when we move her out at the end of the episode. So let's talk about the Sims that are going to be in this Let's Play. So first of all, the oldest Sim in this house, but not the oldest child, but it is Haven's oldest daughter. Angelo is actually Haven's oldest child, but Faith here is Haven's oldest daughter. She is also easily her favorite child. She and Haven are basically like BFFs. So obviously this is probably a little difficult for Faith because her mom was basically like her best friend. Faith is an actress. She is actually right now preparing for a gig where she has to practice her romance scenes. And she's doing that with her ex, who she doesn't have any feelings for at all anymore, but he really, really wronged her. And so she kind of just uses him now to do her romance scenes as sort of her way of getting back at him. Basically, as a teen, Faith ended up getting pregnant by this guy, Archer, and she does have a teen daughter now who is being raised by her father. And Archer, this guy, basically just kind of walked away and said, you know what, I don't want anything to do with it. You're on your own. So as revenge, she kind of just uses him to perform her romance scenes. Yeah, that's Faith. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about her personality, just so you can understand a little bit more. Like I said, she is an actress. She is a 3-star celebrity, I believe. Yeah, she is a 3-star celebrity, almost a 4-star celebrity. And her main traits are that she's mean. Faith has always been a bit of a mean girl. I mean, it has calmed down a little bit as she's gotten older, but it's definitely still there. She has the unforgettable trait, so she leaves a mark on everyone she meets. And she's a sweet talker, so in spite of being mean, she can really put on a show that she is a nice person. And Faith's main goal in life is to become famous. She wants to be a famous actress, and she is well on her way. And she is already living the life in Del Sol Valley, as you can see, in this beautiful mansion. The reason that she was able to do this actually used to be Thorn Bailey's house. And Thorn Bailey was Haven's final victim. So when she ended up going to jail, the kids were already here. And so they're basically still living here. Faith also has the distinction of being the only one of the kids whose father did not get killed by her mom. Faith was actually the result of one of Haven's flings. She is the daughter of Haven and Don Lothario, and Haven did not want to kill Don because she never married him. He didn't have any money anyway. She actually liked him. So it's a little bit different for Faith than it is for the other kids. The biggest thing for Faith and the biggest loss she's feeling is the fact that her mom, basically her best friend, is gone. So let's move on to our next sim. The next one of Haven's kids is going to be living in the house. So this is Samson. And Samson has just recently become a young adult. I would say he is also, at least growing up, was Haven's favorite son. Not anywhere close to the level of favoritism that she showed Faith, but of all the boys growing up, he was definitely her favorite. Samson is that guy that just seems to have everything. You know, he's got the looks, he's got the athletic ability, he's very likable, he's funny. He's sort of like the guy that you want to hate, but you can't because he's just so likable. And he is definitely the most lighthearted of all of the siblings. You know, whereas all the rest of them are pretty serious, Samson is the one that can just make people smile and laugh. So he's kind of a breath of fresh air, at least I feel like. He currently doesn't have a job and doesn't really have a lot of direction. So we're going to try to figure out something for him to do. And his big brother Angelo is here. He's got a special gift for him. He is extremely close to his big brother. In fact, Angelo kind of raised Samson and Amara. But yeah, about Samson's personality, he doesn't have a job, so that's something we're going to have to figure out for him. But his traits are lovable and goofball and cheerful. So like I said, he's generally a happy sim. However, he is still a bit devastated over the fact that he found out his mom's a murderer and that she did kill his dad. Now, I will say it is a little bit different for Samson than the other kids as well, because Samson's dad was actually murdered before Samson was even born. So he never got to know his dad. So the loss for him is a different kind of loss than it is for, say, like Angelo or Amara or Asher. So yeah, that is Samson. So that brings us to our final sim that is going to be living in the house, the final sibling that we're going to be following in this series, and that is Asher, who is a teen and is a hothead, as you can see. So he is jogging right now to clear his mind. So Asher, like I said, he is hot-headed. He's very rebellious. He does not have good feelings towards his mother whatsoever. By the time Asher was born, Haven was basically done with kids. She never was maternal to begin with, but she really thought she was done. Oh, hey, somebody needs to let Angelo in. Amara, can you let him in? So while she wasn't a great mom to really any of the kids, she definitely was the most neglectful emotionally of Asher. And the difference with Asher and some of the others is Angelo, who was like superstar big brother and really stepped in to be there for the other kids. Angelo had already moved out to university by the time Asher was born. And although they were somewhat close and he made a point to spend time with Asher when he would visit, he basically didn't really have that person to nurture him or really parent him. Amara, his big sister, is probably the closest thing that he had. But Amara, although she's very good, that's not really her thing. I don't think taking care of kids or babies is really her niche. And so it really was just a different experience for Asher. And as such, he easily has the most resentment towards his mother. He was very close to his father, who was a Kirikibo, but he was murdered when Asher was a toddler. And so he's really just had a rough way to go. And like I said, he's very embittered toward his mom. And in a lot of ways, you can't really blame him. So his traits are hot-headed and genius. He's a teen, so he only has two. He is basically super smart and super conniving. Like, I basically can see him at this point. I think he's headed down a bad path. And what's scary about it is he has the intelligence to really go far with it. And I don't mean that in a good way. So those are the Sims we're going to be following. Also, you will see this little cat here, Merlin. Merlin is actually not going to be with this family because Merlin is Amara's familiar. So when Amara moves out, she is going to be taking Merlin with her. So it is a Friday night. The kids are just out here eating some dinner. which in itself has become a little bit of a challenge because if you know anything about the Black Widow challenge, one of the rules is that your Black Widow has to master the cooking skill. And so Haven was really the resident cook in the family. So since then, we've had to try to make do without her. I actually have had Samson working on his cooking. I think he is up to a level 3. Yeah, because I don't know why, out of Faith and Samson, I just kind of feel like Samson is the one that would be more apt to actually cook. So that's why I did that. But can you imagine having dinner and having this kind of view out on your back deck? I mean, come on. Like, they do have a gorgeous home. So it's the next day. It is a Saturday afternoon, and Asher has come to Windenburg to spend some time with a girl that he has met at school. He is actually working on a project at school with her. So basically she's his partner to get the assignment done. And if you look closely, you will probably recognize this is actually my October sim from my recent cast video. I just changed her hair to an alpha hair to basically match everyone else in the world. And the girl's name is Lucy Emmons. And basically what happened is Lucy's mom, who is this lady right here, Lucy's mom is a teacher at the high school that Asher goes to, and basically heard all about what's been going on with Asher and his family. And she kind of told her daughter, hey, you need to be nice to this boy. Like, he's going through a lot. Basically, she's feeling compassionate towards Asher and his situation. You know, Asher is super intelligent. He's a super good student. And I think that Lucy's mom just sees something in him and just kind of feels, you know, I think her heart goes out to him. Because as you might imagine, Asher's not the type that makes friends easily. He is really good friends with Faith's daughter, which is his niece. Where's she at? Chloe, who we haven't met. They have always been really close since they're close in age growing up. But for the most part, he really doesn't have a lot of friends. And to be fair, Lucy is not the type of girl that Asher would normally be friends with, because Lucy is what you would expect from a teacher's daughter. She's very good, you know, she's very studious, she doesn't cause trouble, and we know Asher is all about trouble. So it's kind of an unlikely friendship, but it was basically started because Lucy's mom, which is Asher's teacher, kind of maneuvered it for them to be friends and to work together. So he's just over here to work on this project with Lucy. They have actually started to kind of become friends, as different as they are. But suffice to say, it started off as a begrudging type of friendship for both of them. Because again, neither one of them would really choose the other to hang out with if they had a choice. So now that they're done with their schoolwork, they're just out here playing in the snow. As far as anything romantic, Lucy is most definitely not Asher's type. Asher likes the very, I would say the wild kind of girl. So I don't think that Lucy is the type of girl he would be interested in romantically. You know, I think in Asher's eyes, he would see her as like a goody two-shoes. And that's just not really his speed. And I'm not sure that Asher would necessarily be the kind of guy that would be Lucy's choice in going out with either. But, you know, I think it's kind of nice that he is starting to have a friend. So I'm going to go ahead and send Asher home now. That's a cute snow pal, though. I really like that. I've never seen that with the, is it called a monocle? I think it's called a monocle. I don't know. I could be wrong. Oh, man. So Asher just got back home, and his older brother Samson just got this text from his ex, and she says, so this is going to sound crazy. I know we're friends and all, but, well, okay, here it goes. I have a crush on you. Whew. Okay, it's out there. So would you want to go out with me sometime? You're super cool. I really want to hang out with you more. So the thing with this is I haven't even really gotten into Samson's love life yet. So basically, this is Samson's high school girlfriend. She was a pageant girl, and they were kind of the couple that you think of in high school that just seems to be the it couple. They have everything. But what ended up happening was Samson actually ended up falling in love with his best friend, Grayson. And so he kind of cheated on Taryn with his best friend. Samson, in the process, has discovered that he is pansexual. At first, I wasn't sure if Samson was bisexual or pansexual, but it did show him in the final episode of Black Widow being attracted to Morgan Ember. So I'm pretty sure that Samson is pan. So anyway, it's a whole complicated scenario because basically Samson ended up having to come clean with Taryn that he had cheated on her with Grayson, but he never stopped having feelings for Taryn, which is this girl here. It was really just more that he also had feelings for Grayson, and it wasn't really fair, obviously, to continue to string her along when he wasn't sure who he wanted to be with. So obviously that's something else that we're going to be getting into in this episode is Samson's love life, having him figure out who he wants to be with. Because right now, he definitely is all torn up about how he feels. So this is a tough one because I don't want him to go on a date with her right now. But I do see him possibly dating her and Grayson and trying to figure out basically who he wants to be with. But if I do this, is it going to make them go on a date now? Okay, I guess it doesn't. So that's good. Because I think that would be the next logical step, would be for him to go out with both of them and see who he wants to be with. Also, I love how Asher has come home and made himself a drink at the bar. He's probably thinking, no parents are here, nobody can really do anything about it. And I honestly don't really see Samson or Faith really saying much or caring much about it. Amara might, but as we know, Amara's not going to live here much longer. So one of the things that I did want to do this episode was I want Samson to get a job. Basically at this point, they do have 1,600,000 simoleons, which to be fair, at least a million of that is probably rightfully Samson's because his father, Nico, was by far the richest of all of Haven's exes, and she did get at least $1 million from him when he died. So a big part of that wealth is Samson's, but the truth of it is this is an expensive home to live in, and at this point, Faith's income is the only income we have, so we do need to get Samson a job, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about what kind of job would Samson want to do. Athlete is one option because he's very athletic, but I've had another sim and another series do that career, and I don't really feel like doing it again. So what I was thinking about, it's actually a custom career. I hope it's in here. Yes, it is. I was thinking that Samson could be suited to becoming a firefighter. Like I said, he is very fit, and I could see him being courageous enough and also motivated by the idea of doing something good for others. So I think a firefighter would be a great career for him. So he is now a fire safety instructor. And he does have to get logic skill, which is quite interesting. So that's something we're going to have to work on with him. But for now, it is time to send everyone to bed. Okay, so it is the next day, and Faith walks into her mom's old room. And she discovers Asher in here trolling the forums and notices that Asher has basically moved his bedroom into her mom's old room and wants to know what the meaning of this is. She's like, look, this is mom's room. What are you doing moving all of your stuff in here? Now, to be fair, from Asher's point of view, he has slept in the basement his whole life. And Asher's like, after all those years of sleeping in the basement and after what our mom did, I feel like this is the least that she owes me to get this nice room. And Faith's like, but mom's going to come back eventually. And Asher's like, yeah, I don't think so. She murdered 10 guys, and I hope she doesn't come back. Asher's saying he really doesn't ever want to see her face again. Which, of course, is upsetting to Faith because Faith wants her mom to come home. Yeah, like I said, there's definitely some battles between these two. I feel sorry for Samson. In fact, Samson has just come up to discover that Amara is packing. And, of course, wants to know what's going on. and is basically telling Samson that she feels like she needs to leave this house. You know, Amara was the one who discovered what was going on with her mom, and I think it would make sense that she would want to get away. The other thing is, Amara is set on bringing her father back to life. Her father is Victor Fang, and since Amara is a spellcaster, if she gets high enough in untamed magic, she will be able to bring him back, and she knows that. So she's basically just explaining to Samson, you know, I need to get out, and I think she would want to move to Glimmerbrook because she really wants to work on becoming a better spellcaster and getting to the point where she can bring her father back. So that is where Amara is headed, and of course, going to be our focus with Amara's LP. And you know, Samson, for his part, understands, and he wants Amara to be happy. But I think he's also like joking with her, like, are you really going to leave me alone with Faith and Asher? So at this point, Samson is just going to wish her well. And Amara is going to go and say her goodbyes to each person in the house, probably with a personalized message for all of them, telling Samson not to go too crazy with Faith and Asher in the house, probably telling Faith to try her best to be nice. And probably telling Asher, you know, that she still loves him and that she'll always be there for him, even when she doesn't live here. So the house I'm moving her to is a house that I started working on, but I haven't finished. So this is the home that she's going to be moving into. Like I said, it is in Glimmerbrook, which is an absolutely gorgeous town. But there is one more thing. And that is that Amara is not quite going to be living by herself. In addition to having Merlin to live with, she is going to ask Slade to move in with her. So if you're new to the series, Slade is her boyfriend. And Slade is also a spellcaster. So Slade already lived in Glimmerbrook with his father, who is gone most of the time. And ooh, I didn't think about this. Slade's family has a lot of money too. Maybe we should transfer some of his money over as well. What do you think? Maybe like 500,000? There we go. Yeah, and so the thing with Slade is Slade also has a parent who has passed away. His mom has died, and in Black Widow, we saw Slade trying to figure out how he's a spellcaster. He wants to know more about his heritage. He wants to know what happened to his mom. So in the new series, we're going to be exploring Amara's story of trying to bring her dad back and becoming a more powerful witch for that. But we're also going to be focused on Slade developing his witch powers as well and trying to figure out more about his magical origin. So that's who we'll be visiting next time.